edition of the Buddy Martin Show. Glad to be with you. What a great week it is. It's college football time. I'm looking at my TV. I'm seeing college football. I'm good. Been watching it today. We watched South Florida roll over Boise. And now I've got the Central Arkansas, Missouri game on. Why I don't know. It's football. There you go. That's what it is. So, been a good day here. Looking forward to the show tonight with you. Looking forward to having my guests on. We're going to make you some money tonight, I hope, because we're going to actually make our picks. I've got my panel of 4 experts tonight. They're going to come out and give me their best bet for the weekend, all right? Pick your poison. Lots of games to choose from. I don't have the lines in front of me, but you kind of know what they are. And you want to join in, you can throw yours in too. Glad to have you do that here. This is an interactive program, and one day soon, hopefully, we'll even have phone calls. Got some great news to tell you about a little bit later, especially you folks up here in the Panhandle, and we're excited about our future. So on the program tonight, we got our experts, Franz Beard. Big night for Franz this week. He was to Golden Ocala. Got a chance to visit with the coach of the Florida Gators, and we will talk about that particular venture along with some of our other friends. And we're going to have our friend Ben Troupe, the big shot, on tonight. Ben Troupe, 84 Reasons. He always brings it. Loren Meadows is making his way back from Tampa. He'll join us with his pick, Coach Meadows. And somewhere out there is Rob Browne. He's always traveling out of Memphis, but he's around someplace. He will join us on the new program tomorrow. So lots of good fun here. I see your Franz Beards aboard, so we will go ahead and start the program tonight and say thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Tell your friends and neighbors the Buddy Martin Show is now on the air.
Yes, it's time again for Buddy Martin. Call him up and tell him what you're thinking. But be kind because he's doing the best he can.
Better, stronger, faster.
Mama says that alligators are ornery because they got all them teeth but no toothbrush.
Hey, what if the voice calls while you're gone?
Take a message.
Bye.
You ready, champ?
I'm ready for this my whole life.
I'm incapable of small talk. But that's why you love me, right?
Kind of intimidating to be in the presence of so many great athletes.
Good evening and welcome to the program. I'm Buddy Martin. The program is called The Buddy Martin Show. We're glad to be back with you tonight. Tomorrow we start a new chapter we want to tell you about a little later. But this guy right here is hot as a pistol right now. He is a happy guy. He's got Gator football starting and he's got basketball to talk about. And last night he was among the royalty. I don't know how much you can talk about it, Franz Beard, but it was quite a night. I've got pictures and evidence to show you were playing the big shot last night.
No, I'm just an old cowhand for the Rio Grande, buddy. I'm just the guy that runs and grabs hold of the caboose as it goes roaring by.
I hear you.
It was
kind of
really
like this guy right here. I've heard. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, that's that. There he is right there. Who's that with you there, buddy? Huh?
Yeah,
who's that?
That's
Who's that?
Todd Golden.
Ain't no cowhand there, I can tell you what. And that was last night. Now you were very happy because you got to have a great evening and got a chance to get your book promoted. So tell us about the evening. We'll start with that. But it is football. We got to say it's football season, and you got to give me a can't miss pick tonight for somebody to make some money. All right, is that a deal? You do that?
All right, we can do that.
All right, talk about last night, and let's Golden Ocala and Todd's perfect. Golden Ocala, Todd Golden. What do you say?
Well, they had a big thing that they do every year for the Ocala Tip-Off Club, and the Tip-Off Club went dissipated under Mike White. Mike didn't want to be there, whatever like that. I don't know all the answers to that, but Todd Golden, on the other hand, is happy to be part there at the Tip-Off Club. He's very, very happy to be there, and we had a really large gathering there at Golden, Ocala. And what a place that is! My goodness, I've every time I go in there, I'm just amazed at how that place is. That's what, the whole, you look at the houses there, the golf course, everything is just done immaculately, and such an outstanding place, and a great place to have a meeting like that. And so Todd Golden got up there, and I'm telling you what, the people are madly in love with the Florida coach. You can bet on that. And it's not just because he won a national championship last year, buddy. I mean, that certainly didn't hurt anything. But the big thing is, this is a guy that just connects with people. He is a real people person. He connects people. People want to talk to him. They want to sidle up to him. Just a really, really good guy. And it showed. You watch him, how he interacts with people, everybody lining up to take pictures with him and stuff like that. He even took one with me. How about that? And
how about that? That was, I mean, he's slumming a little bit there, but I mean,
I know. I know. I mean, he probably sat there and said, "Oh, come on, we got to stop this nonsense."
It's a nice picture. I showed just now. We'll show it again. Very nice picture of you. And then something else I want to talk to you. There, it looks like he's a pretty happy camper. You look like you're thrilled, man.
Happy to see him. I've Todd and I are friends, but I don't bug him, and particularly at this time of the year. This is a time of the year when he gets to, he makes some few speeches, but he gets to get out and play golf and enjoy his family a little bit, et cetera, like that. He's had that, I'm saying, in the month of July. So I've tried not to bug him. And so last night, getting to see him, hadn't seen him in a while, and good to see him. We got a chance to chat, and I got to tell you what, buddy, he's very got his head on straight about this season. It's kind of like, I was talking with Larry Chiat for about an hour on Tuesday, and Larry Chiat said, "Look," he said, "we won the first one. Nobody knew us. Nobody knew what to expect." He said the second one, it was okay. Everybody got the knives out. Everybody, the crowds everywhere the Gators played, the crowd was there ready to, beat the Gators is a big, big deal. And it's going to be like that this coming year. The Gators are playing one of the toughest schedules in the country. They're going to play Arizona. They're going to play UConn in Madison Square Garden. They're going to play Duke in Cameron Indoor Stadium. And if you get to go there, bring some snacks for the rats. They'll come up and visit with you. Cameron, Cameron's been around for a long time. It was named after Eddie Cameron, who was once the football coach at Duke. But he was the football coach before Wallace Wade. Remember him, that name, buddy? Wallace Wade.
Very well. I certainly do, yes.
He won. He's the guy that got Alabama football off the schneid. They became a powerhouse, Wallace Wade, and then turned it over to Frank Thomas. And Frank Thomas was a great coach. And unfortunately, somewhere along the line, they got Ears Whitworth in there.
And by the way, Larry, for those who don't know, we talk like people. Everybody knows every minute of history. Like you have at the back of your mind and hand. But Larry Chiat was a defense coach for Billy Donovan, who came along. And I know you and Chiat were pretty good friends. And just to not get too deep in this, because we got to do some football tonight. But I want to talk about this. I think you should be very proud that last night that Drew Diddy brought this up and said, this is a book everybody's going to want to get. And there it is.
Thank you. That's kind of you to say. And I hope it's a book that brings back a lot of memories for a lot of Gators. Obviously, this was a very special season, and for me especially, it was a very special season because this came along at a time when I went through some
Tough times.
some tough times, losing my
folks,
stepfather.
they're really tough times.
My stepfather died, and a month later, my 31-year-old parent, who used to be my editor, sat on my shoulder and helped me write for 31 years.
Old Ralphie was always there.
Yep. And she passed away, the day after Christmas. So, enduring that and going through it all, basketball was kind of like a lifeline for me.
Got your attention off all your woes that you had. Not all, but help you distract you from them somewhat.
Well, it was something to grab onto, something to look forward to, something that got me, as you pointed out, just thinking about something else. And looking, every time there was a ball game, I was really, really looking forward to that next one. And the game, as soon as the one game was over, I'm looking forward to the next one. The drive up to Gainesville was good, and the drive back after a win was even better.
And that's the beauty of sports. That's the beauty of sports. It really can get your mind off your woe. We've all been through there. We've all had them. And they're extruding. Nothing can get your mind. You're thinking about your loved one or your pet or whatever. And sports does it great. And it was kind of a shock to our systems this year. And we should tell people this book is not on the market yet. It's on the way to the printer. It will be available. I'm going to wait and see for sure because I got to talk to Carlton Reese, the very fine editor who's put this together. And I know we're going to have them. And we're going to order enough of them to make sure there are plenty of books. And then we're going to put them out and market them, and we're going to start. I think we'll have books in October late. I know we're going to have them we're pre-ordering in October. We're going to go back to the next Alligator Club meeting, and when Todd's going to be there, and they've offered us a chance to come and tell people they want to pre-order the book, they can. They're going to discount it. And then we're going to have a big weekend, the weekend of the Tennessee game, where they're giving away all these rings for championships.
Yeah.
We're going to have you setting up there, and you're going to have to get your hand propped up because you'll be signing a bunch of books.
Well, Jeffrey was there last night, and I got to tell you, folks, what Jeffrey Meldon's done is just extraordinary. He's given away replica rings of the national championship ring. It's not the national championship ring, but it is a quality replica that I'll tell you what, it's going to be one of these things where you're going to want to be there at that ball game, and you want to somehow get a hold of one. And Jeffrey's giving them away. Jeffrey and I
first 10,000 people come to the Merrimack game.
Yeah.
Whoever thought the Merrimack game would amount to anything, right?
Exactly. Well, let me tell you something. Let me tell folks who don't know about Jeffrey. There is, you want to talk about somebody who bleeds orange and blue. I mean, literally, you cut his right arm and the blood's blue. You cut his left arm and the blood's orange.
All right, so I'm going to start running the clock now because this is on his commercial. You're doing it. Go ahead.
But he supports everything Florida. He will be one of the first ones to tell you that the University of Florida has done far more for him than he will ever do for the University of Florida. And you just watch him interact with people. My gosh, he might be all of 5'5" or 5'6". Mm-hmm. He's a little munchkin walking around, but always with a big grin. And buddy, one of the things I know about Jeffrey is this: you call him up and you got a problem. The first thing he doesn't ask you first thing, well, how much money you got or whatever like that. He sits there and listens to people. And I've talked to enough people who've dealt with him, and they say nobody listens better than Jeffrey Meldon. And that's the kind of guy, and I think that shows in the way he treats, he reacts to the University of Florida. So I'm a walking commercial for Jeffrey Meldon, but I think the world of the guy.
We'll just go ahead and say Jeffrey Meldon Law, 4 locations to serve the Ocala games in Wilson Lake City. Now actually more because they got a South Florida office. They've gone from 12 to 50 people, growing. And there's a reason, because he's trustworthy. And if you like doing business with fellow Gators, you won't find it better than Jeffrey Meldon. Meldon Law, they won't back down. Now, Franz, spot the ball, okay?
All right.
Spot the ball. There it is. Spot it.
Well,
that's Jake Slaughter spotting the ball, okay?
This is probably the worst football team coming to Gainesville this weekend since Charleston Southern came, and we remember that game. It was like
maybe Duquesne with the Northeast.
69-0 was the Charleston Southern game, and that was that was brutal. And this one's going to be brutal. They had another opponent, and the opponent backed out of the contract, paid Florida off for the contract, and the Gators had to have a game, and so they ended up getting Long Island. And it's good for Long Island. I mean, I think I know everybody talks about how, what a terrible opponent. But, think about these kids from Long Island. They don't have the guys that are going to be playing in the pros, but they're going to have guys that'll be talking for years about, I ran out there in the swamp and there were 90,000 people. And they'll be talking about the end of the third quarter hearing 90,000 people sing, "We Won't Back Down," And let me throw something in, buddy.
Okay.
People used to be in games like this. We used to see midway through the third quarter, people leaving the game. Since they started playing "I Won't Back Down," people stay. And once they stay to the third quarter, more of them tend to stay in the fourth quarter. We've seen that. And I think what a rallying point that song has become for Gator fans everywhere. And I'm excited. I'm as excited about anything. I'm going to get to see him run out of the tunnel again. And Lord have mercy, when we first started out, there was no tunnel. Back when they used to come in from the southeast corner of the end zone. They just come out that way. And then they ended up, I think it was Charlie Pell that got the tunnel built. And they started coming out of a tunnel.
Well, I think didn't both teams come out of the same place back then? I think they did.
Back before then, both teams came out the same way.
Mm-hmm.
And it was Charlie Pell, because Charlie Pell got the south end zone built.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when they first had the tunnel. That's when Jim Finch starts his call. Here come the Gators.
And where did he work? WGGG.
Yeah. Jim Finch, we're coming back from O'Galley, Florida. I'm a basketball player at Gainesville High, and he used to call the GHS basketball games. He gets on the microphone. I didn't realize, but he was somebody had said he was a vaudeville singer back in his day. And all the way back from O'Galley, Florida, where we'd won a basketball game, Jim Finch serenaded us. Wow. What a talented guy he was. But he's the guy that originated the "Here Come the Gators." And it
was like, what just "Here Come the Gators"?
Yeah, he was terrific. And that's part of Florida tradition. You think about the traditions. We are the boys. Now they've got "I Won't Back Down" in there. Yeah. Here come the Gators. I love, quite frankly, the video board, and you see the alligators swimming in Lake Alice or wherever it is they are.
And my friend Mark Emery got that alligator for them. Yeah, great live wildlife photographer.
That's a great video board, and nobody's got anything like it. And I've had visiting fans say, you're surrounded. He say, there's 5,000 of us. There's 85,000 of you guys, and then they put that thing up there on there with the alligator, and you start thinking, oh my gosh, If we beat them, these people are going to take us over to Lake Alice and throw us into the alligators.
But
But
let's talk a little bit about this football team. We're getting down to a point where we're kind of getting a grip on it now, and we've had some introspective thinking about it, about what's what. And this is not our first rodeo. We've done this a few times, and we get motivated when things start getting good. It's one of the joys of being a guy who went to Florida and is covering the team as you did. And I just feel so good about this team. And it's not a rah-rah homer kind of pick. It's just I hope it's good football analysis. I've been fairly accurate on that.
Yeah.
And I know you have too. And matter of fact, you talked me up a few times that I was underrating the team. At the least, it was a national championship game against Ohio State, and I was not going to pick them. And you talked it up to a point where I got up in the morning and changed my pick and pick the Gators. But my point is that I think we both know a little football. We're not coaches, but we know a little football. And we kind of know a little bit about talent. And we kind of know that tempo, and also we know demeanor. I just got to say, Todd Golden, I got basketball in my mind.
Nothing wrong with that, buddy.
Billy Napier he's ready. He's built this thing the proper way. He's like Noah in the front yard with the ark, building this thing right. Everybody else, is doing what they're doing, and he's just taking his time. I coined this phrase on him when he first came here: measure twice, cut once kind of guy. And I still think that works. And a lot of people didn't believe he was doing it fast enough, and quite frankly, wanted to be gone, and he was gone. He was a dead man walking last year when the miracle happened. And so we realized maybe he knew what he was talking about a little bit, At the least he had a terrific quarterback, and don't forget he recruited him and picked him. So I got to give Billy full credit. Now, has he won it yet? No. Does he deserve an extension? No. I think this will be the proving ground year for him because, honestly, I said this last night. In the Gator Hotel, there's not a bad room. Every room on that football, I kind of hate that term room. That's where we're down to. If you want to talk rooms, you pick one, and we can talk about it. And I think when you get through, you'll say, 8.5, 9 and on, their talent level is up. The coaching staff is stable, as you pointed out in your column now. Their defensive coordinator is back another year. They've done this. They got the players. This is the time. Now, well, what will happen to the schedule? I don't know. I saw it tonight. I don't know if you watched the football game, but South Florida did not look good at all in the first half. They just couldn't get their offense going. No. And I was beginning to wonder about them. And of course, Boise was ranked 25th and South Florida was not. But they stuck with their game plan and physically beat up Boise. I think maybe the humidity played a little factor for Boise being from the light air, but nonetheless, they hammered Boise. So this is not going to be an easy game next Saturday night.
No, it's not, and yet I think that probably it's what they need. I think they'll beat South Florida, but I think they need a game that G.J. Lagway, for example, is going to have to throw against a pretty good pass rush. I liked what I saw of South Florida rushing the passer. They got a good pressure on the Boise quarterback. And then also the quarterback there, Byron Browne for South Florida.
Good runner, very good runner.
Has really good escape instincts. Mm-hmm. And I think that we saw some things that are going to be very, very helpful in the next 2 ball games. In the next 3 ball games, for example. You're going to have to be able to get to the quarterback, get him down on the ground. You're going to have to play solid defense, obviously, and you're going to have to force turnovers. South Florida is going to come at the Gators. They've got some people that I thought they looked better than I thought they were going to. I thought they were going to look good. I didn't think they were going to win the game, but I thought they were going to give Boise a good ball game. And Lord have mercy, they played very, very well. And they're better than I thought they were. But it's a good thing, I think, buddy, because before you go to LSU, if you'd played 2 cupcakes in a row, because you're going to be playing an LSU team that I think is going to get hosed by Clemson and is going to have a cupcake game with Southeastern Louisiana next ball game. And I think Florida will have the better advantage by playing its cupcake game first and then playing a tough team instead of the way LSU's got the tough game, easy game, and then the Gators come to town.
All right, we've got quite a schedule this week, and I've asked you guys to give me your best picks to make some money. Let's welcome Ben Troupe in the house. 84 Reasons. He's back. Every time I turn on my TV lately, I see him on somebody's show with his hat on and his beads on. There he is. He's much in demand. The former tight end great in the pros and in college. He loves football. And matter of fact, I'm sure you probably peeked at that South Florida game a little bit. If you did, what you're thinking?
I was impressed. I mean, I like the fake punt. I mean, I agree with Franz. They got quarterbacks that no defense like, and those are guys that have escapability. But I will say this: give USF a lot of credit. When you talk about the headlines around the state of Florida, it's always going to be Florida, Florida State, and Miami. They play good football in Tampa. They play good football in Orlando. They play good football, FIU. They play good football in Boca Raton. While we're watching our team, other teams are getting better. It doesn't mean they're going to be good enough to beat Florida. But the one thing about it is now, if you are USF, you are always saying, can we compete and recruit with the big three? The only way that's going to happen is if we show and prove against teams like Boise. We are many moons away. The last time Boise was good, well, they was good last year with Ashton Genty, but the last time they were dominant, he is the head coach of the Saints now. That's how long it's been. Kellen Moore was the last time Boise used to dominate, but I was very, very impressed with USF. I mean, I used to live in Tampa, and they were always talking about, what about us? Why don't we get the same fanfare? Why don't we get the same love? But they look, for one night, they look really, really impressive. And if you are Florida, no, you're not looking down the road to USF, but they will be coming to Florida looking to make a statement. But for one night, Buddy and Franz, they look really, really impressive.
All right, so go ahead. Yeah, Franz, I'm sorry.
I was impressed. I think that it's a tighten your jocks because here they come game.
Yeah. By the way, not to change the subject, I'm going to change the subject a little bit. Give me a game you think you should bet on if you had money to put on it. But I have a question for you. Do you know there are 7 teams that have 4 or more straight winning, have a streak going, okay? I would never have gotten the first 2, but we know one of them is. You guys want to take a shot at who these teams are? There are 8 teams that have a win streak of coming off last year of 4 or more games. How many can you guys get?
Probably 1, and that's Florida.
Yeah, I know Florida got to be 1. I think they got like 4.
They got 4.
Like 4.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I mean, yeah.
I didn't know.
I'm not good at those streaks. Yeah, I'm not good at those streaks.
Well, there's 4 other teams with 4. It's Syracuse, Memphis, Ohio State, and TCU. There's 1 with 5. Buffalo has 5. There's 2 with 7. Marshall and Ohio.
Really?
Yeah, okay. I would never have gotten that in a million years, but just thought it was interesting. All right, so that's a little fact for you there. And let me just say, first of all, I got a question for you, and then I want to mention I'm really happy to announce tonight that the Panhandle Gator Club podcast, which is a bi-monthly show, will be held on Fridays, 9 a.m. We're going to host it from here in the Panhandle with our 2 Robs, Rob Dotson and Rob Browne, brought to you by Rocket Lanes of Panama City Beach. Great people over there. Met them today. And we're going to be doing some talking about Alabama, about Auburn, because as you know, in the Panhandle, friends, they like other football. And maybe that's school,
Alabama.
Yeah, and I even mentioned that school in Tallahassee occasionally. So this brought to you by the Panhandle Gator Club. Thank you to all those people for that. It's going to be exciting. and we're glad to have it on Friday mornings. Now, having said that, Big Des. I liked Big Des. I know my partner Mondays and whatever. Franz never bought. I mean, not Franz. Shane never bought in to Big Des. He never thought he's kind of a gimmicky guy, but I liked him. I just thought he was more than a novelty. He was a decent ball player, but now he's eating himself out of the NFL. Okay, they signed him in the drafts in Tampa. Been with Tampa Bay all summer. We all kind of thought he would figure out how to lose that weight, right? We just did. But he couldn't. They wouldn't let him practice. And they wanted him to drop X number of pounds. I don't know how many. Reports different points in the season indicate he was down to 450, 437, and down to 430 to 429. But we're not sure what those were. And so anyway, it would be making the heaviest player ever make a roster in the National Football League. So give me your thoughts about that, Ben, and then Franz.
I think the thing about Dez is he was a feel-good story at the University of Florida, obviously, and he made some strides, but the National Football League is not going to change for anybody. It's all about liability. They're thinking about the long haul. They're thinking about his health. They're thinking about future, things that could hurt him. If Dez, number one, it's two things you got to ask. One, can he lose the weight? Two, can he keep it off? Because the thing about it is if somebody, as soon as Big Dez finishes the season, somebody's supposed to tell him how many times in the draft do a guy come in 10, 15 pounds lighter? Because he got to run. With Dez, if Dez lost 60 pounds, he'll still be 370, 380, right? That's still way too big in the National Football League. I will say this. A team gave him a shot. Regardless of what happened, they gave him a shot. Yeah. You know how many players that were in shape, had great tape, and never made it to camp? It is tons of players don't get called to camp. So I think the thing about give the Bucs this much credit. His phone was not ringing off the hook after the draft was over. Somebody gave him an opportunity. Obviously, Tampa, they right down the road. For Big Dez, he had to ask himself, how serious am I about playing football? Because say what you want about the Glazers, they gave him a shot. And people going to look at how they treated him when he got there. Man, you a pro now. And pros, you do what no one else does because no one else is like you. So Big Dad's still going to have an opportunity. Might not be in the NFL, but you still got UFL. You still got other places. But I think the thing about it is this. Exactly. Just imagine how many players never got a call. And they looking at a guy that big who got an opportunity. So shout out to the Glazer family who definitely gave me an opportunity when I left Tennessee. I just think that we look at the end result. Dez Watson not making the team is about as normal as Shiloh Sanders not making the team. And for those thinking Shiloh Sanders didn't make the team because he swung at the tight end for Buffalo, he's an undrafted rookie that didn't flash. And that's just the reality. But Big Dez, man, you know we rooting for you, but we rooting for you in life more than football.
Yeah.
Franz?
Here's the thing about it. The best defense middle nose tackle I've seen in the last 20 years was, and you can take in Ndamukong Suh, and I don't care about him. I thought he was overrated from the beginning. But the best one was Mount Cody at Alabama in 2009. And I guess it was 2011 and 2012. That was the best nose tackle. And he weighed 385. He was 6'5", weighed 385. And he got up to 400 pounds, and he ate himself out of the league. He ate himself out of a career. And they take this stuff very, very seriously about making weight. You know, Ben, they weighed you before every ball game for a reason. I think they probably weighed you before every practice before you went out. I know some NFL teams do, but I know they weigh you before every ball game, and they do that for a reason. We've had, two NFL guys that died on the field before. The last one, I think, was a guy with the Detroit Lions back in the 70s. And he had a heart attack, died right there on the field. They take this stuff very seriously. They take the image part of it, which that's part of the whole deal. And, I feel badly for Dez because I know he loves the game and he wants to do well. He's a very articulate young guy, etc. But at some point in time, he's either got to lose the weight or he's going to, or else he's going to have to find a new profession. Like, Andre the Giant, hey, weighs almost 600 pounds in his day. Haystack Calhoun, wrestling weights.
Listen, you break up with those names. All right, here's the deal now. Franz, this is a story that should touch you a little bit. Because I remember when Lakeland signed all those guys, they signed all those guys from Lakeland back in the day when Urban was there. There was a slew of them. And the one guy that didn't make the field right off the bat was Ahmad Black. I think they played him at corner and then safety. And I remember you talking about him. Why never playing him? He's a better player than that, and you were the only person you were squawking away. And they finally got on the field. He did become a good player, and he was a interception artist, a good tackler. And now this weekend he comes back, and he's going to be honored. He'll be Mr. Two Bits, and he's a seventh player, I think, to get that opportunity. Percy Harvin, Brandon Spikes, Major Wright among them. And so he's going to be the Mr. Two Bits. He says, it's really cool. And Ahmad's 36 now. Anytime you get to go to the swamp again, it's an amazing opportunity. Things people deal with on a daily basis get forgotten when you get to cheer for your team. Well, we just talked about a while ago, friends. It's just great to be around the fans who have grown to love and support you at Florida. So Ahmad Black's going to be there. And I know that he'll have a lot of memories, and a lot of people will have memories. And fans, you should have some because you're one of his biggest athletes.
Well, I kept bugging coaches. I kept bugging Greg Patterson's ear and saying he's not a corner. He'll never play corner. I said, but play him at safety, and you'll see something. And they moved him to safety in the spring after a freshman year that was disastrous for him. And I think if they hadn't moved him to safety, he might have transferred out. But they moved him to safety. And you got to admit, Ahmad Black and Major Wright were
man.
You want to talk about two extraordinary safeties who
they had Veggie Nelson, then they had the trifecta.
You remember the Oklahoma game on the first play of the game, Major Wright delivers the shot that I'll tell you what a shot on the sidelines. Yeah. And then when the game is on the line, look who comes up with the interception that seals the win, and that's Ahmad.
Ahmad had a whole bunch of interceptions one year, didn't he?
He had 8
7, as I remember.
He had 8 that year. And then he had an interception. Urban's last game, he's the MVP of the Outback Bowl. He makes an interception and runs it back. And Urban said, I've been your coach for all these years. Now I can call you my friend. And I thought that was touching. Yeah. And this is a kid who I thought, a lot of people thought he was a throw-in along with you had the 7 guys from Lakeland, and a lot of guys thought he was a throw-in. They got him because he was buddies with the Pounceys and with Chris Rainey and John Browne. And John, people forget that John Browne was the number 1 defensive tackle in the country, and he never played it down at Florida.
Yeah, let me get Ben real fast. I got Loren checking in. Your thoughts on Ahmad? Anything you want to say about that, Ben?
Well, number one, I'm happy for him being Mr. Two Bits, but I mean, you can give Urban Meyer just as much credit for putting Ahmad at safety like he did for Percy. As far as because what happens is that's what college is about. It's a fight. Where does he fit? Not what he can play. when Ahmad Black ran out for every game, people's like, there is no way that is a starting safety for Florida. I say, snap the ball and watch what happens. Like, pound for pound, Ahmad gave you every inch, every ounce of him. And when it's all said and done, if you from Lakeland, if I recruit in the state of Florida, if I'm a recruiter, where you go, man? I just go to Lakeland and just camp out. Them boys, they just put them out year after year after year. Right down for I-4, nestled in between Tampa and Orlando. It's right down to the left. But Ahmad Black, played with a chip on his shoulder, but he played well. Like, he played extremely well. I mean, he walked away from Florida, national champion, SEC champion, all SEC player, first team All-American. Like, Ahmad, I had to tell Ahmad the same way I just tell Steve Harris, man, stop going back and forth with people online, man. You're not going to win that. Stop going back and forth with people on social media because people try to judge what he did in the pros compared to what he did. I said, man, you from the state of Florida, won a national championship in the state of Florida, and you got to play for Tampa, man, your life is grand. All that other stuff you let the people get under your I mean, I'm not going to give it away, but, man, I'm sitting there talking to Lito Shepherd, and he's telling me what he didn't do. I said, Lito, no. You were the first team All-Pro with the Eagles. I've never heard the crowd yell nobody's name but yours. Lito. I said, man, something about these players, they judge their lives on what they didn't do. I said, Ahmad, name a safety that came through Florida, not named Reggie Nelson, and Major Wright that wouldn't trade places with you. Ask Gus Scott. Ask Ty Johnson. Ask Marquand Manuel. Ask Corey and all those guys. All those guys. So shout out to Ahmad, man. He get to be Mr. 2 Bits. Hey man, he gonna look good in that yellow polo.
Yeah. All right. So let's bring in our buddy Loren Meadows, who's making a big sacrifice to be with us tonight. Appreciate you hustling back to be with us, Loren. And you guys don't forget, you both owe me a pick. The best pick. I'm going to spend $1,000 this weekend on one game, Franz. And Ben, I want you to tell me what that game's going to be. And Loren Meadows, good evening to you, my friend.
How you doing?
We're doing good. And we just having an interesting conversation about Mr. Two Bits, Ahmad Black, who was a guy that we know well. Franz remembers him from Lakeland High School. And we were talking, and by the way, Franz, yes, before we go, Franz, I want to also get back to Coach Maggio, who died. He was the coach of the Great Wall, and I want to get to that. But first, let's go to Loren. What's going on, Loren?
Oh, nothing much, actually. I heard y'all talking about South Florida. I was actually at the game tonight.
Okay.
So I went down and checked them out, and Florida better buckle up. That's all I'm going to say. They better buckle up. That quarterback is a handful. You remember my buddy Mike Jones that coached the Kelseys. We were kind of talking about it, and I mean, they got some swagger. I mean, Galesh has them playing with a little bounce, and when you see that, Florida's gonna have to buckle up, gonna have to knock them down early, and get up in them because I mean, it could be. I mean, they got it together in that second half, and like you said, punished South Florida. But I remember Ahmad Black. It's funny. I was talking to one of the Pouncey twins one day, and I said, do you remember you guys came up and played in the Herb Street Classic against St. X, which is one of the powerhouse programs in Cincinnati? I mean, two really good football teams. And Lakeland, Chris Rainey took back the opening kickoff, did the Gator Chomp at Nippert Stadium at UC, and the game ended up 7-0. That was the only score in the game. So tell you what kind of players were on the field that day. And I remember Ahmad Black and just being excited he was going to come to Florida, and obviously what that group was able to do when they got to Florida. I mean, Ahmad Black definitely one of the greats.
I don't know whether to seal the game in the fourth quarter.
Yep.
I don't know whether or not South Florida is legit. First half, they didn't impress me at all. Took a little while to get started when that quarterback started running, Browne. And then, of course, they were physical. I think that's the thing that impressed me. They were physical not just in the first half. They were more physical in the second half. Now, some of that may have been the fact their opponent was from the light air of Idaho. I don't know that. I'm surprised. I'm surprised. This is the number 25 ranked team they beat. They punished them, as you said. All right, you got a game for me, Franz? Points, give me some money. I want to make some money here.
I like Clemson to cover and beat LSU. I think Clemson's going to win that game by 10 or more points. But I like Clemson plus Clemson taking 4.5.
Rob Browne texted me that was his game too. He also likes Clemson. What about it, Coach? Well, let's go to Ben first. Ben, who you got for me? You can make me a money on this weekend.
No, listen, Notre Dame, Miami. Outside of it being a classic game that we finally getting back to, I mean, what is it? Was it 2.5 for Notre Dame? I mean, I'll take that. I think. I mean, because unless I know they got Carson Beck down there, but that defense has not gotten better in a year. I see that Notre Dame offense being able to have his way with that Miami. I'll take the points with that Notre Dame.
All right, Coach.
Same thing. I was going to say Notre Dame, my boy Marcus Freeman big over the Hurricanes.
Not many people believe in the Hurricanes. Carlton Reese, who keeps these complicated stats over the years. He has his own ratings and power system. He's had it for years. He told me last night he didn't have Miami anywhere in his top 10. He doesn't have Georgia. He already has them in the top 25 based on his rating system. I don't know about that. We'll see. But, let's talk about one that you mentioned, 45.5 points. Would you lay that with Long Island?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
That's a lot of points.
Anybody, I wrote in my article tonight, I would be shocked and a little disappointed if Long Island scores a point.
Well, Shane points out the rules have changed. They don't stop the clock on the sidelines anymore when you go out of bounds. And it's hard to score every time you have the ball. So how many possessions they get in the game? 7? What is it?
No, typically they get about 10 each.
All right, so
but it used to be you
not going to punt. That's the thing.
You figured in the old days that each team would get 12 possessions each. And what this has done is it's taken 2 possessions off each team. And so you get about 10 possessions each. And to score 70 points, you got to score 10 possessions. So
all right. Well, do you think they can do
I don't say.
Go ahead.
I think they'll score 50-something points. 56-0, 59-0, something like that.
Loren?
I got it 45-0 just because Billy don't play that. You know, he gonna slow it way down, but 45-0 at least, I think.
Then you'll back it off if he's ahead 38-0 at halftime.
Yeah, I think he don't play that. That's not his style. I mean, you can't tell a kid to go out of bounds or anything like that. But I think 48-0 is definitely going to be a goose egg. Or I'd be shocked if it's not a goose egg.
You know what, Ben? We may see 4 quarterbacks in that game from Florida.
That's the goal. Well, I mean, for everybody to be talking about how we live in an age now to where it's not about style, I beg to differ. I mean, I remember my time in Florida just going through seeing how bad these first games be looking. Look in the stands and watch how many guys actually got their parents at the game who have no opportunity to get no burn, saying, "Hey, Mama, if we do what I think we're gonna do, I'm gonna get a chance to get in there." And I remember this. Trey Orr out of Lake City, Florida, got in one time. I don't know if he got the longest pick, but he's getting the running for like one of the long. He gets in, Trey dealt with a lot of injuries. He gets in, takes about like 80 yards for a pick because the game was about over. And my nephew, right now, Kennesaw State, right? They got Wake Forest tomorrow. He's there right now. He said, do I got a chance to play? I said, you want me to tell you the truth or you want me to be your uncle? He said, I want you to tell me the truth. I said, absolutely not, but you need to be ready. I'm not saying you're going to get in, but if you do get in, hey, man, just be ready. I said, are you starting on special teams? He said, no. I said, do you know your plays? He says, yes. I said, well, you'll get the best seat in the house right there next to the running backs coach.
Yeah. We talk about offensive lines. Franz, you're the one who bore witness to this. You saw it play at the Great Wall they had back in the mid 80s when they won their mythical national championship. The guy who coached them, I did not know. They call him Philip. They call him James. I don't know. They call him Phil, I guess.
Phil.
Maggio. And he was passed away last week. And thanks to our friends from Bill Feinberg, he sent us a note about it. He was graduate of Tampa Jefferson, 1962. Standout lineman from the University of Florida from 64 to 66. I don't remember. I guess he played with Spurrier. I don't remember him.
Yes, he did.
And he got his anyway. So he taught and coached at Hillsborough High School and had a great impact at Plant, by the way, Hillsborough County High School. And he was the defensive coordinator, and he helped the Panthers go to 66-14-1. Then he came to Florida, and he helped coach the Great Wall. Talk about that, Franz.
The best offensive line in the history of the Southeastern Conference, bar none. Phil Bromley at center, Jeff Zimmerman and Billy Henson at the guards, Crawford, Kerr, and Lomas Browne at the tackles. Scott Trimble, kind of the swing guy that rotated in, played the tackles and the guards. Those six guys and Florida's offensive line just pulverized people. And what was amazing was they're all big guys for their time. Zimmerman was like 314, biggest guy we'd ever had. Lomas weighed about 280, 285. Crawford Kerr weighed, I think, 290. Billy Henson weighed 275. But then in the middle is Phil Bromley, barely 250. But the guy was an absolute was this genius. I mean, he'd get there, and you want to talk about a guy who could read defenses. He could read it. They never got confused, and they just ground people to a pulp. And they get this big lead, and it was amazing. They were so good running the ball that everybody had to play them 8 in the box. And then you look on the outside, all these receivers, Ricky Mantil, Ray McDonald, Frankie Neal, Gary Roll, and a couple others. They all played in the NFL. You got all these NFL wide receivers, and Kerwin Bell only threw the ball 17 times a ball game. And you go back there like that, like to Ricky Mantil, 96 yards in the Georgia game. Oh gosh, I love that play. Right after they make that play, because they had this tremendous goal line stand in Georgia, they're up 17-0 at the halftime, and Georgia comes down the field, and all the Georgia people are so excited. Florida makes a great goal line stand, and then on first down, it's Kerwin Bell drops into the end zone, launches it, and Ricky Mantil just blew by everybody. And I'll never forget, all the Georgia people started emptying. They knew it was over then. But that was all possible by the Great Wall. That was the best offensive line in the history of the SEC.
R.I.P. to Coach Maggio. We're kind of running out of time here. But, thank you for that insight. You know a lot about it. I'm going to use this remaining moments to say, pick me out a player and tell me, I know we can't tell much. Well, let's just say, aside from the quarterback, who will show out and how on Saturday night, at the Florida field. Go first, Ben.
I mean, the guy that missed most of last year decided to come back to show the world. I know we got Dallas, but I'm Trey, and I'm going to show y'all why I came back. I think every year we seemingly have 2 years ago it was Ricky Pearsall. Last year it was Elijah Badger, even though he had DK. I know it's the law offices of Wilson and Wilson, but the one that started law office was Trey. I want to see what Trey Wilson gonna do. I think he's gonna show them other youngers around, in that wide receiver room. Look, man, y'all, we got a bunch of alpha males, but I'm the leader of the pack.
All right, Loren.
Hayden Hanson on offense and Cameron James on defense.
There's a name I hear about, Hayden Hanson, and the tight end is going to be involved in this offense, right?
Looking real good. Gonna be sharp, catching passes. He and Cameron James, my two.
All right. And Francis.
I got the guy I like is Jacoby Jackson. I think Jacoby Jackson's style is just such that I think he'll have a couple of breakaway runs in this. And over on the defensive side of the ball, I'm looking for somebody to make an absolute huge hit, and I think Miles Graham is going to be that guy. I look for him to just absolutely knock somebody into next week.
They're talking a lot about the linebacker crew, and they're really looking to hit somebody. Guys, another good show. Appreciate you and thoughts. It's football's here, and just turning the TV on and being able to see it is great, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Beautiful thing. Beautiful thing. Beautiful thing.
Beautiful thing. All right, guys. Thanks for a good job. Appreciate you hustling back, Loren, to be with us.
Yes, sir.
All right, guys. Don't forget, tomorrow morning we're going to do our first show, 9 o'clock here at the Panhandle Gator Club. We're going to be telling you all about what we're doing up here, up our way, as they say now. So thanks, guys. Thanks, Loren. Thanks, Ben. Thanks, Franz.
Thanks, guys.
All right, folks. That'll wrap up the show for the night. We're going to tell you about our friends at Titan MRI. Don't need any copy to do that. I know it well enough. I know this much. When you go in for an MRI, one of the things you hate to do is crawl in one of those tubes. It's not a comfortable feeling when you see it all around you. And it's something that a lot of people just don't take and get MRIs because of it. Well, Titan MRI and Imaging has spoken to that, and they've got the larger tubes and cages for you there. And you can get in there and you can breathe. I have a little claustrophobia and things like that. And I tell you right now, that's a big thing. If you've never had one, I would suggest that you go in there and try it. What they do there is they make the customer experience quite extraordinary for you. Is if you have a job and you just can't get away to have an MRI and your doctor says, you've got to have an MRI, you can call them up and say, I can't come during the day. Can I come at night? Yes, you can. They'll let you make a reservation to have a nighttime appointment at one of the locations they serve you at, several of the stream Gainesville and up around Lake City, and soon to be one in Ocala. And they will make it more manageable for you. And you get to the point of how you pay. Well, they do have insurance now. They didn't used to have that. They take some insurances. And they also have the ability to put you on their new pay program if you qualify for it, so you can make arrangements to pay however you can pay. I just can't say enough about what they do there at Titan. They've been doing it for a while. They intend to be with us for a while. And we appreciate all they do for the Florida Gators and for the sponsorship of this program. They're doing things for our customers and our friends. So Titan MRI and Imaging, check them out. Once again, remember tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock Central, 8 o'clock Eastern, we will have, other way around, 10 o'clock Eastern and 9 o'clock Central. I'll get it yet. We're going to do our first podcast on the Gator Club, Panhandle Gator Club, and we'll have Rob Dotson and Rob Browne, and our friends over at Rocket Lanes are going to sponsor the program. And tell you what we're doing up here in this part of the country. Atlanta's a beautiful place, lots of football talk. So you won't want to miss that. And we'll have it every other Friday after that. And we'll be able to keep up with the Alabamas and the Auburns and things they do with those other schools over there. So just check that out. I'll be hosting the show. I'm very happy to be doing it, and I hope you'll join us. Have a great night, folks, and a great weekend. Football's here. Let's get it done.